Brothers and sisters, today we celebrate Divine Mercy Sunday when we are reminded of the mercy of God, of the love of God, and the presence of God in our lives. Jesus is alive. He is risen. Our God is alive. And that means that in everything, in every circumstance, in all situations, Jesus is with each and every one of us. And the gospel today about Thomas is a very powerful gospel. I remember a friend of mine, Bernhard Udelhoven, who is a missionary in Zambia, sharing with me about her ministry. The ministry is called the Finger of Thomas. And Bernhard Udelhoven is a sociocultural anthropologist as well as a theologian, a missionary. Now he gathered priests, religious people with diverse knowledge and expertise, lay members of Christ Faithful, psychologists, people who are gifted, healers, as well as doctors and nurses into this ministry called the Finger of Thomas. And what do they do? In many parts of Zambia and in some other parts of Africa, so many people are often, especially women, accused of witchcraft. In some cases, like in Ghana, you have a witchcraft village where these women are banished from the community. Sometimes some of them have also been killed or burned alive. This is very painful. But Bernhard and his group did not stop simply at bemoaning this very sad experience. They decided to go out into the communities, into the villages, into the cities, encountering people who are being accused of being witches, or people who are afraid that they have been attacked by witches or wizards, or who feel that a spell has been cast on them. People who are sick, who feel that or experience demonic attack. They went about listening to these people and accompanying them so that they can find healing. And one of the things they discovered is that the number one challenge that many people face in many communities in this part of the world, and I think also in every part of the world today, is a breakdown of relationship. People are no longer connecting with each other. People do not trust each other. They are afraid of what is to come. And so when there is a breakdown of relationship between someone and his family or her family, his or her husband, her neighbors, where there is mistrust, fear, resentment, anger, bitterness, then anything is possible. So people are crippled because their relationships are broken. And they call their ministry the Finger of Thomas because they saw the number one challenge of pastoral accompaniment as getting to hear the stories of people, knowing what is going on in people's lives, trying to penetrate deeper into their hearts to feel the pulse of their heart, their vulnerabilities, their anguish, their fears. And I think that what happens in the gospel today between Jesus and Thomas really points to us of the need for us to touch the wounds of one another. Now, Thomas touched the glorified wounds of Jesus, the scars of victory, because the wounds of Jesus that he touched were no longer bleeding. He's alive, he's risen. However, the wound of Thomas was festering, the wounds of doubt. He lost his faith, the wounds of fear and despair. The one in whom he put his hope, he felt that everything has ended with the death of Jesus, so he walked away from the community. So he was broken. He had no more trust in himself or in the faith community. And he walked away. He did not show up at the first Sunday of Easter. This is what really happens to those who don't come to Mass on Sunday, because every Sunday we gather, Jesus comes in his power and glory to bless God's people. But Thomas made up his mind the second Sunday after Easter. He came to church, and Jesus appears again, and there is a mutual coming together of two wounds, the glorified scars of victory of the risen Lord, and the battered, shattered, doubting, fearful wounds of Thomas. In contact with the wound of Jesus, there was a transformation. It's very powerful that upon contact with the Holy One, with Jesus, Thomas felt the power of God and said, "My Lord and my God." Our mission in life, brothers and sisters, is to touch the wounds of so many people who are battered and broken today in our world. The resurrection faith is the faith of the wounded who are now being transformed, whose wounds are now being transformed into glorification, into new life, into new experience. So it is good to have doubts about our faith. I'm a theologian, I'm a priest, but there are times when I doubt. In my family, in the lives of God's people, in the questions my students ask me, and in my own personal experience of my own failings, my own humanity, my own vulnerability, I doubt. But the message is to take your doubt to Jesus, and he will receive you. Take your wounds and brokenness to Jesus, and he will heal you. And where do we find Jesus? In a special way, in the church, in the presence of God's community, God's faithful people. So when we gather, as we will do this weekend to celebrate divine mercy, we are reminded of the wounds of Jesus. By his wounds, you have been healed. And through this wound of Jesus, each and every one of us, as we come in contact with the body of Christ, may we experience the transformative grace of the resurrection. And may we, like Thomas, continue to allow ourselves to doubt, but open ourselves to the shattering presence of the light from above, the light of the resurrection. Because whenever we come in contact with Jesus, he transforms what is human in us, what is wounded and what is broken, by his power, by his glory, and by his victory.